Dear student, welcome to first lecture of Econ 1-1 Fundamentals of Agricultural Economics. In this lecture, we are going to learn about the topics. That is, first one is about the economics. In that, we have to learn about the meaning of economics, then the subject matter of the economics, then the scope and various definitions of the economics, and we have to also learn about the divisions of economics, that is the traditional approach and modern approach. Then the second one is approaches to economic analysis. In that we have to learn macroeconomics. Then we have to also learn the positive or normative science, and we have to learn lastly we have to learn about the methods of economic investigation, that is the deductive method and inductive method. Now, first one, meaning of economics. What is meant by economics? Or first, as we know, the word economics, which was derived from the Greek language and Greek word oikonomikos, which was derived from the Greek word oikonomikos. In that, oikos means a household and nomikos means a management. So togetherly this word, that is the oikonomikos, in that oikos means household and nomos means management. You have to remember the word economics, which was derived from Greek language and Greek word oikonomikos. Now, as we know, which would mean managing an household means oikonomikos, which means the management of household using the limited funds available in the most satisfactory manner possible. So this is the meaning of the word economics and Greek word oikonomikos. Now, the beginning of economics was made by a great Greek philosopher. The beginning of economics, which was made by the Greek philosopher Aristotle from his book Economica. So question may be asked, the book of Aristotle is, so the book of Aristotle is Economica. From this book there was beginning of the word economics, or there is beginning of the economics, and in that book Aristotle focused that the field of economics deals with the household management. Now, economics is the science that deals with the production, exchange, consumption and consumption of various commodities in a economic system. So, this is about the meaning of economics. Now, we have to study the subject matter of economics. So, subject matter of economics, it includes economic activity, or economics only tells us how a man utilizes his limited resources for the satisfaction of his unlimited wants. As we know, we human beings, we never get satisfied. So our wants are unlimited, but resources to fulfill them, they are the limited. Now, the subject matter of economics includes economics tells us only how a man utilizes his limited resources to satisfy his unlimited wants. Then, to fulfill the requirements arising out of various needs, man involves in an activity is called economic activity. Means to fulfill, suppose to fulfill my requirements, I have to involve in any activity. I have to do some work, I have to give some efforts. That is the economic activity. To fulfill my want, I have to work, I have to earn money, then and then I can fulfill my wants. That is the economic activity. As we know, basic requirements of human or necessities of life, that is a man wants food, clothes, shelter, that is the necessity, or that is the necessary wants of the human. Then to fulfill that want, to get these things, we must have a money, and to earn money or getting money, we have to make some efforts or we have to work. That's why the efforts that leads to the satisfaction, and togetherly wants, efforts and satisfaction sums up the subject matter of economics, that is the cycle. Wants leads to efforts, then satisfaction. Suppose I have one particular want. To fulfill that want, I will work, I will earn money, I will get satisfied. Then another want will come in mind, then I have to give some efforts, then I will get satisfaction. That is the circle of economic activity: want, efforts and satisfaction. That is the subject matter of economics. Then subject matter of economics includes the divisions of economics. It also includes the divisions of economics. Basically, there are two approaches in the divisions of economics, that is the traditional approach and modern approach. So we will see one by one. First one is the traditional approach. Traditional approach consists of the consumption, production, exchange and distribution. So traditional approach is consist of consumption, production, exchange and distribution. On the other hand, modern approach that consists of the microeconomics and macroeconomics. Now we will discuss one by one. Here first one is traditional approach. So in traditional approach of economics, they have divided in 4 parts or 4 divisions, that is the consumption, production, exchange and distribution. So first one is the consumption. As we know, consumption means use of the wealth to satisfy the unlimited wants. So on the other hand, consumption is the destruction of utility. Question may be asked in the fill in the blanks, dash dash is the destruction of utility. Then correct answer is consumption is the destruction of utility. So all the goods that are produced, it may be consumed immediately or after some time or in the future. As we know, there are some goods like food items that may be consumed after preparation as immediately, or there are some items like clothes, we can use it in future time also. So that is why all goods that are produced, it may be consumed immediately or after some time or after some time in future. So in the consumption activity, we use or utilize utilities, or we use some utilities, hence consumption represents using up of utilities. That is, just simply keep in mind, the destruction of utility, that is the consumption. Now opposite to that, next is production. So production is an activity which helps to create utility. So consumption means destruction of utility and production means creation of utility. So production simply means the addition of the utilities, hence production is defined as the creation of utility. So in general life, production process means the transformation of one set of good into the another set. If you take the example of agriculture, in agriculture what we do, we apply inputs and we get the output. So that is the transformation of inputs into the output, that is the production. Now next is the exchange and distribution. Now as we know, the exchange means sharing of good with another person. So exchange of good means transfer of good from one person to the another. So we transfer one good to another, in return we get something. So it can be takes place among the group of individual, among the countries, among the markets and regions, etc. Means we can exchange among the group of people, among the individual, among the countries, among the markets and among the some regions also. So exchange leads to increase in the welfare of individuals by creating the higher utilities. Means exchange which leads to creation of higher utilities. Suppose for example, suppose I am a carpenter, some goods I have, the goods in my shop and goods into the consumer's hand or into the consumer's house, they have the different utilities. So exchange which leads to creation of higher utilities. Okay, then next is distribution. So distribution refers to the sharing of wealth produced by the community among the factors of production. So as we know, there are four factors of production, that is the land, labor, capital and organization. These are the four factors of production. Distribution means sharing of wealth among the factors of production into the community. So proper distribution of wealth and resources lead to growth and economic welfare of community. Then the process of determining rent, wages, interest and profit is called as distribution. Question may be asked, the process of determining rent, wages, interest and profit is called as distribution. Now, as we know, four factors of production, that is the land, labor, capital and organization. Now, if we use the land, landowner gets the, what landowner gets? He gets the rent. If we labors, if we use the labor or if we hire the labor, we have to pay some wages, and if we use the capital of someone, we have to pay some interest. And organizers, the for the organization, the entrepreneur is rewarded with the profit. So for the use of land, we have to pay rent. For the labor, we have to pay wages. For the use of capital, we have to give some interest. And organization, they run for the earning profit. That is the process of determining rent, wages, interest and profit is called as distribution. So this is about the divisions of the economics, that is the traditional approach: product consumption, production, exchange and distribution. Now next is the modern approach, which includes the microeconomics and macroeconomics. Similarly, the word economics, here microeconomics, that word is derived from the Greek language and Greek word micros. Microeconomics, the word derived from which language? It derived from the Greek language and Greek word micros, and micros means a small or tiny, small part or the tiny part. In general, micro means the millionth part. In general life, or if we think generally, micro means the millionth part, but in a case of economics, microeconomics word derived from Greek language and Greek word micros, which means small. Now, microeconomics is also known as the price theory. So many times or number of times they ask the microeconomics is also known as dash dash dash. So microeconomics is also known as the price theory because it focuses on the price determination. Now, fundamentally, microeconomics deals with the economic behavior of individual economic units such as consumer, resource owner and business firm. Means if we think microeconomically deals with, or microeconomics concerns with the individuals. It concerns with the individual. Suppose single consumer, single economic unit, single resource owner or single business firm, means they are deals with the particular single activity or single person or single any unit. So it is concerned with the flow of economic resources or factors of production from the household or resource owners to the business firm, and flow of goods and services from the business firm to the households. So microeconomics, it covers some theories, means it covers the theory of consumer behavior. As we know, theory of consumer behavior, which is related to a single consumer or individual consumer, that's why it comes under the microeconomics. Then theory of value, which is about the single product or factor pricing or prices of that product. Then theory of economic welfare. So these are the theories that comes under the microeconomics. So this is about the micro, MI. Another one is macro, means MA. Now we will discuss about the macroeconomics. Now on the other hand, macroeconomics, the word macroeconomics, again it is derived from the Greek language and Greek word macros. Microeconomics, which also from the Greek language, micros was there, here is macros, and macros means large. Now as we know, microeconomics is also known as the price theory. Here macroeconomics, otherwise called as income theory and income and employment theory. Question may be asked, microeconomics also known as or otherwise called as, so microeconomics otherwise called as income theory or income and employment theory. So here macroeconomics treats economic activity as a whole, or macroeconomics which deals with economy as a whole or as a complete, or economy as a overall or aggregate economy. Means here in macroeconomics we think about the all the items of economy, or economy as a complete, economy as a whole or aggregate economy. Here we think about the bird eye view of the economy. Now macroeconomic concern with the value of overall flow of goods and resources. Here we are thinking about the overall flow of the goods and resources in that particular country. Then macroeconomic covers the theory of income and employment. As earlier I told you, macroeconomics is otherwise called as theory of income and employment, then theory of money and prices, then banking system in the country, theory of economic growth, and concept of national income. So these are the topics that comes under the macroeconomics. So in this course we have to learn about macroeconomics also. We have to learn about the concept of national income, that is the GDP, GNP, NNP, NI, DI and PI, means gross domestic product, gross net product, net national product, then national income, personal income and disposable income. So these are the concept of national income that comes under the macroeconomic. So the study of both micro and macroeconomics is essential to understand the whole system of economic activities. So this is all about the divisions of economics, that is the traditional approach, production, consumption, exchange, distribution, and modern approach, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Now next is scope of economics. If you know the scope of economics, you must know either economics is a science or economics is art. You must know either economics is a science or economics is an art. Now first, if we think economics is a science, so as we know, science tells us or science teaches us to know about something. Science teaches us to know, and as a science, economics is a branch of knowledge where the various facts relevant to it have been systematically collected, recorded, classified and analyzed. As we know, if we think economics as a science, in economics is economics is the branch of knowledge where the various facts which are relevant to the economics have been systematically collected, recorded, classified and analyzed. So the motive of individuals and business firm can be very easily measured in terms of the money. So thus economics is science. Now if we think economics is an art, then as an art, economics teaches us how to do a thing, and as a science, economics teaches us to know about something or to know, and as an art, economics teaches us how to do a thing. So we find that economics offers us a practical guidance in the solution of economic problems. Means economics as a science, it will guide you as a practical guidance in the solution of economic problems, but as an art, economics shows the solution to the problems. Means as an art, economics actually shows the solutions to the problem. So the role of economics as an art can be found in any sphere of economic activity. Now we'll take the one example here. The given the resource constraints or any problem, so the field of economics guides us. Suppose economics as a science, so how to maximize the profit of a farm. So suppose I have a farm, my problem is how to maximize the profits of farm. I have to maximize the profit. So economics tells us, as a science, economics as a science tells us to know, then I have to know how to maximize the profit of a farm, then art to solve the same. If I will maximize my profit, then it will be my art to I have maximized my profits. So thus economics is both a science as well as art. I'll just keep in mind, economics is both a science as well as art. Then now, if economics is a science, then either it is positive science and normative science. Now economics economics is a positive science, then positive economics is completely objective. Positive economics is completely objective, and positive economics is limited to the cause and effect relationship of economic activity. Means positive economics or positive science, it is limited to the cause and effect relationship, or positive economics or positive science studies only cause and effect relationship. As we know, if the prices of any commodity increases, either it will affect on the demand, quantity demanded or not, that is the cause. If quantity decrease, it is the effect of rise in prices, that is the cause and effect relationship. Now it simply concerned with the way and economic relations are present in the different economic activities. As we know, every economic activities there is existence of cause and effect relationship. Now a positive statement is based on facts, means what actually they are. What they are means positive statement is based on the facts. Now why the prices increase, what was the cause for increasing the prices? Increasing price is the effect, and what was the cause? So economics as a positive science, we have to think about that. Now on the other hand, if economics is a normative science, so it studies the way that economic relations ought to be, and it makes distinction between good and bad. Then if prices increases, either it is good or it is bad, that is the normative science or normative economics. So normative economics evaluates. Evaluates means it decides either it is good or either bad. Normative, that is the cause and effect relationship. So normative statement involves the ethical values. Now for example, if economics has a positive science, 12% of the labor force in the India was unemployed last year. 10% of the labor force in the India was unemployed last year. Now they have mentioned cause and effect relationship here. 12% of labor force in India was unemployed in last year. If you think as a normative science, 12% unemployment is too high. 12% unemployment is too high, that is good or bad relationship, which is shown by the normative science. If we think the as a positive science or positive economics, the 12% of labor force in India was unemployed last year, that is the cause and effect relationship. As the population increases, the unemployment increases, that is the 12% of labor force was unemployed. Now that 12% of unemployment, either it is high or low or good or bad, it is shown by the normative science. So thus economics is the both positive science and normative science. So this is about the scope of the economics. Now we have to discuss the various definitions of economics. Now, as we know in the other sciences, suppose physics, chemistry, biology, there are scientists. There are scientists who make the research. Now, in the economics, there are economists. We say economists or we call them economist. Okay, in the economics, they are the economists. So, there are various economists. They have given the different definitions of economics. We will discuss one by one. So first one is the wealth definition of economics, which was given by Adam Smith, and Adam Smith is from the Scotland. Then another definition of economics, that is the welfare definition of economics, which was given by Alfred Marshall. Then next is scarcity definition. Scarcity definition of economics, which was given by Lionel Robbins, and last one, that is the growth definition, which was given by Paul Samuelson. So these are the four definitions we have to study. Wealth definition, Adam Smith; welfare definition, Alfred Marshall; scarcity definition, Lionel Robbins; and growth definition, Paul Samuelson. So we have to discuss one by one. So first one is wealth definition of economics. As we know, wealth definition of economics, which was given by Adam Smith, who is considered as the father of economics. So question may be asked, who is the father of economics? Then Adam Smith is considered, or Adam Smith is the father of economics, and in 1776 he wrote a book, Wealth of Nation. Again question may be asked, the book of Adam Smith is. So the book of Adam Smith is Wealth of Nation, and in his book he defined economics as an inquiry into nature and causes of wealth of nation. An inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nation. This is a definition given by Adam Smith. So in this definition, he treated how a nation's wealth is created, or he thinks how nation's wealth is created. So economics is the science of wealth, means according to Adam Smith, economics is the science of wealth. Then another classical economist, he defined J.S. Mill. He defined economics as the practical science of production and distribution of wealth. The practical science of production and distribution of wealth, means according to J.S. Mill, economics is the practical science of production and distribution of wealth. So these are the two wealth definition of economics. Then there are some economists, they said economics as a dismal science. So Ruskin and Carley, they said, or they condemned economics as a dismal science. Most of time the question is asked, the who said economics or who condemned economics as a dismal science. So correct answer is Ruskin and Carley, or Carley and Ruskin. They said economics as a dismal science. As we know, if you do some innovative things, innovative research, there is opposition. There is one group of opposition, or they criticize our study. Similarly, here every definition of economics was criticized by another economist. So wealth definition of economics, which was given by Adam Smith from his book Wealth of Nation, and he is considered as father of economics. So even if father of economics, his definition was criticized. Then the criticism on the definition of wealth definition of economics is that according to the criticism, or according to the opposition who have raised the criticism, Adam Smith defined economics only in terms of wealth, not in terms of the human welfare. Means according to them, Adam Smith thinks about only wealth, not about the welfare side of economics, or well-being side of economics, well-being of humans. So hence the wealth definition was rejected at that time, and the emphasis was shifted from wealth to welfare. So At that time, they raised the question on the wealth definition, and their emphasis or their focus or shifted from wealth definition of economics to the welfare definition of economics. Now, our next definition is welfare definition of economics. Now, the welfare definition of economics is given by Alfred Marshall. So, wealth definition, which was criticized by Alfred Marshall, and he gave the welfare definition of economics. So, Alfred Marshall wrote a book, Principle of Economics, in which he defined political economy. Now, the important features of Marshall's definition or important features of the welfare definition of economics. So, here economics is a aspect of human life, means according to welfare definition or according to Marshall, economics is the aspect of human life, or economics studies both individual and social actions aimed at promoting economic welfare of people. Means according to the Marshall, economics is aspect of human life and it also studies the both individual and social action which leads to the well-being or welfare of people. So then this definition or welfare definition makes a distinction between two types of things, that is the materialistic thing, material thing, and immaterial thing. So material thing consists of, the material thing means which we can feel, which we can see, which we can touch, that is the book, rice, any material thing, any material, suppose pen, these are the material thing. And immaterial thing means that cannot be seen, that cannot be felt, touch, that is the skill of person, skill of person. Okay, then skill in the operation of tractor means skill of driver, skill of teacher also, that we cannot feel, we cannot touch it, that is the immaterial thing. Now according to the Marshall, the welfare definition of economics is, economics is a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. Study of mankind means study of human being in the ordinary business of life. Ordinary business of life means day to day life or general life. So according to his definition, a study of economics is the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. So economics examines that part of individual and social action which is most closely connected with the attainment and with the use of material requisites of well-being. Means here Marshall focus on the material things into the day-to-day life of human beings. Means for our welfare we require some material things. That is the welfare definition of economics. Now again there is criticism. Again some economists, they raise the criticism on the welfare definition or Marshall's definition of economics. So according to criticism, Marshall considered only material thing, but immaterial things such as services of doctor, services of teacher, and so on also promote the welfare of people. As we know, welfare of people can be promoted by the service of doctor, service of teacher, or another serviceman. So here he means Alfred Marshall never think about the services, he never think about the immaterial things or immaterial goods. So the welfare of an individual or nation is not only depend on the stock of wealth possessed but also on the political, social and cultural activities of the nation. So that is again criticism on the welfare definition of economics. So many times question is asked, who criticize welfare definition of economics or Alfred Marshall's definition of economics? So correct answer is Lionel Robbins. Lionel Robbins, who criticize welfare definition of economics or Marshall's definition of economics. Keep in mind. Then our next definition, that is the scarcity definition of economics. So scarcity definition of economics, which was given by Lionel Robbins. And who is Lionel Robbins? Who criticized the previous definition or who criticized the welfare or Marshall definition of economics. Now, again, Lionel Robbins, he wrote a book, an essay on the nature and significance of economic science. Question may be asked on the book of Adam Smith, book of Marshall, on or book of Lionel Robbins. So Lionel Robbins wrote a book, an essay on the nature and significance of economic science. In this book, he defined economics as a science which studies human behavior. Means according to the Lionel Robbins, economics is a science which studies the human behavior as the relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. So according to Robbins, economics is a science which deals with which studies the human behavior as a relationship between ends. Ends means human wants. As we know, human wants are unlimited. So as a relationship between ends and scarce. Scarce means which have alternative uses, or scarce means the limited resources. As we know, every resource that have the alternative uses. So according to Lionel Robbins, economics is a science which studies the human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. This definition is very much important. So many times in the so many question paper they have asked the give this scarcity definition of economics, or write down this scarcity definition of economics, or Robbins definition of economics. So economics is a science which studies the human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. So the scarcity definition of economics, the scarcity of commodity is to be considered by in relation to its demand. Means scarcity, kamtarta, scarcity means limited availability of that particular commodity, and it depends on the demand and supply. If the demand of that commodity is higher than the supply, then there is scarcity of that commodity. If supply is less and demand is higher, then in that market there is scarcity of that commodity. So anyone will choose the resource that will satisfy his particular want. So according to Robbins, economics is a science of choice. Again, question may be asked, according to whom economics is a science of choice? So according to Lionel Robbins, economics is a science of choice. Now, then again there is criticism. Again there is another group of economists who raise the criticism on the scarcity definition, and here they criticize as Robbins considered only microeconomic aspects. Robbins considered only microeconomic aspect means which is related to resources, single resources which are allocated to how its price determined. As we know, microeconomics is also known as the price theory. So he considered only microeconomic aspect, but we also studied the macroeconomic aspect. On the other hand, there are some macroeconomic aspects, that is the national income, concepts of the national income. Here the criticism was on the scarcity definition only considers about the microeconomic aspects of single commodity, single price determination. Then Robbins' definition does not cover the theory of economic growth and development, means macro overall theory or aggregate study. Then in production of rice and alcoholic drink, scarce resources are used, but in the production of rice promotes human welfare, while production of alcohol drinks is not conducive to the human welfare, means which is not beneficial to the human welfare. However, Robbins conclude that economics is a neutral between ends. So this is a criticism on the scarcity definition of economics, or on the Robbins definition of economics. Now there is last definition, that is the growth definition of economics. Growth definition of economics, which was given by Professor Paul Samuelson. Growth definition of economics was given by Paul Samuelson. So according to the Paul Samuelson, economics is the study of how man and society choose, with or without money, to employ scarce productive resources which could have alternative uses to produce various commodities over time and distribute them for consumption now and in the future among various people and groups of society. So this is a definition given by the Paul Samuelson. So the major highlights or major implications of growth definition are: growth definition is dynamic definition by including the element of time in it. Means in the growth definition, Paul Samuelson, they have added the element of time. Then it covers the theory of economic growth. So before the growth definition, there was a criticism on every definition. So on that criticism, by studying all the criticism, he prepared the very nice or best definition of economics, which includes the major implication, means growth definition, which include the element of time, which covers the economic theory. Then in this definition, Samuelson stressed the problem of scarcity of means in a relation to unlimited ends. Not only the means are scarce, but they could also be put to alternative uses. And the growth definition covers the various aspects like production, distribution and consumption, and growth definition appears to be most satisfactory. Means among the wealth, welfare, scarcity and growth, most satisfactory definition is growth definition, which was given by Paul Samuelson. Now another economist, that is John Maynard Keynes or J.M. Keynes, who considered as the father of modern economics. Question may be asked, who is considered or who is the father of modern economics? So answer is J.M. Keynes. Now he defined economics as, so according to J.M. Keynes, economics is the study of the administration of scarce resources and of the determinants of the employment and income. So this definition was given by J.M. Keynes. So this is all about the definitions of the economics. Now next or last part of today's video, that is about the methods of economic investigation. So suppose I am a researcher and I have to do the economic investigation or economic study. So there are two methods, that is the deductive method and inductive method. Deductive, deduction, and another is inductive method. So these methods was given by different economists. First, deductive method, which was given by economists of classical school, that is J.S. Mill and Bacon. They advocated deductive method of economics. J.S. Mill and Bacon, deductive method. On the other hand, economists of historical school, two schools means classical school and historical school. So the classical school economists, they advocated the deductive method, J.S. Mill and Bacon, and the economists from historical school like Rothschild and Friedrich, they advocated the inductive method. Now in a deductive method, in this method, researcher or economist proceed from general to particular. Means firstly they think about the overall, or firstly they think about the generally, then they go to the particular thing or particular individual. That is the deduction of sample size. That is the deductive. In a general there will be large sample, in a particular there will be small or single sample size. That is the deduction. So name itself indicates the deduction or deductive method. Means in this method we proceed from general, that is the large sample, to the particular means small sample. So in this you can keep in mind or you can remember like this: deductive means deduction, or in deduction we proceed from general means large to the small, or large to the general to the particular. Now on the other hand, inductive method, this method is known as the historical method, empirical method or posterior method. So in this method we proceed from particular to general. So another is, here is, as we know, inductive method is also known as the historical, because it was given by the historical economist of historical school, or it studies the facts, or it studies the history of any event, that is the historical, empirical or posterior. Posterior means in a past. When we study about the past, that is the posterior. So inductive method is also known as historical, empirical and posterior. Now deductive method. So deductive method is also known as the analytical method, abstract method or the a priori method. Deductive method is also known as the analytical, abstract or a priori method. Why a priori, why abstract or why analytical? So deductive means we draw the conclusion, or we come from general to particular, that is the abstract, that is the main summary. Okay, so that's why it is analytical, abstract or a priori method. So in deductive method, through this method theoretical abstractions are derived from the real world. On the other hand, so inductive method, it is the realistic method because it is based on the facts. So inductive method which is based on the facts, and deductive method, here through this method theoretical abstractions are derived from real world. So this is the difference between deductive and inductive. Now in the deductive method is useful in analyzing the complex economic phenomenon where cause and effect are inseparably mixed up. In the inductive method, data on the consumption of poor, middle, rich, income group of people are collected, classified, analyzed, and important conclusions are drawn out from the results. And at the last, deductive method is useful only if certain assumptions are valid, means traders earn profit if demand of the commodity is more. So this is the difference between deductive and inductive. So question may be asked, distinguish between deductive and inductive method, or there are high chances of asking the question. Deductive method was advocated by J.S. Mill and Bacon. On the other hand, inductive method which was advocated by Rothschild and Friedrich. And in deductive method we proceed from general to particular. In a inductive method we proceed from particular to general, and deductive method is also known as the analytical, abstract and a priori method. On the other hand, inductive method which was given by historical school, that is the Rothschild and Friedrich. So inductive method is also known as the historical, empirical and posterior. So this difference we have to keep in mind. So this is all about the today's lecture. So for this course the reference books are, you can refer the book Agricultural Economics by Subba, Reddy and Raghu. This is the most important book or mostly referred book for the courses of agricultural economics. It has the very easy language. You will understand each and every concept from this book. And there is another book, that is the Elementary Economic Theory by K.K. Dewett. So this is all about the today's lecture. Thank you.